Well, welcome to tonight's episode of Talk and Roll with Hawk and the Captain. Today we have some metalheads from Akron, Ohio with the band Emerald Rage. Gentlemen, tell us about yourselves.
All right, yeah, we're a four-piece speed metal band, power metal band, kind of a little bit of everything. We got everything from Iron Maiden, Thin Lizzy, some Testament, Megadeth, some Judas Priest, some Sabaton, Halloween, all that kind of stuff. And we've sort of managed to wrap it up into one big sound over so far a span of 2 albums now. So yeah, been doing it for about 5-6 years and having fun.
You just listed off like every band I made a video about in the last 2 weeks.
He loved your Sabaton video.
I did like the
Did you?
Sabaton fan.
I had some kid incessantly requesting it. And he'd be the first one to comment on all the videos.
Yeah.
Day 8 of asking for Sabaton. I'm like, all right, dude, chill. There's a process to this, man. All right.
Yeah.
It's not a quick turnover.
No.
Yeah, people love that. I get that on one of my other shows. People always like, can you show this, do this, and I'm like, I'll look into it, man.
Right,
I'll
you got to
look
research
into
and all that kind of stuff. Man, it's not,
I'll get as much as I can. Or my favorite ones is people just ask me like, why don't you interview these people? I'm like, dude, if I could interview those people, I
Yeah.
100% would.
Why don't you interview Metallica?
Yeah. There's a little bit of a process.
They were busy.
They were busy.
Lars did call and asked to be on the show. He was very excited to do it, but I guess they're doing stuff.
Well, I'm giving this one, and I am still working, and it still could happen. It is a good solid maybe.
Ellison?
Yes.
Ooh,
Kings of
okay.
Thrash. So it might
All right.
be Jeff Young, Dave, and maybe Chris Pullen.
Oh,
wow.
that'd be
Okay.
sweet.
So-
Man, all the classic 80s Megadeth guys.
So
Yeah,
we
it's-
both have
it's-
a middle ground when it comes to this. He's the bigger power metal fan, and I'm the thrash guy. But we both love Megadeth.
Oh, yeah, Megadeth. I mean,
You
I
ask
don't
him
like
to wear a Metallica t-shirt for the show,
Megadeth.
please.
Well, it's like I guess that's the first thing he did when he was finally out
Yeah.
of Megadeth. He
Now
went
we
Yeah.
can wear my
Metallica
Metallica
t-shirt.
shirts. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Have him wear one on the show.
The post he made of his birthday weekend in Detroit, where he's like him talking to Lars and getting this backstage tour and everything with Metallica. I'm like, yeah, the message is loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah, his whole situation is fucking so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how I can do this is I have a pretty good buddy who does convention management for Kings of Thrash.
Okay.
So when Kings of Thrash is like at a horror convention or stuff like that, he's their guy.
Okay.
But he also does stuff for him at shows. I mean, he picked me up. Here real quick. I got my Megadeth. I got these two signed,
Oh, cool.
and
The OG killing too.
Yeah.
I got guitar picks and stuff like that from him.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yep. So he's
Yeah, we went
working
to
on
go
that
see-
for me.
We went to go see Testament. It was the Bay Area Strikes Back, Exodus, Death Angel, and Testament. And he literally got in a bare knuckle brawl with a guy because Chuck Billy threw a pick at the stage, and he did get it.
Well, I stepped on the pick. No one was getting it, and I kind of had to like use my forearm to hold everyone back because obviously everyone else wanted it. But yeah, I did did walk away with a Chuck Billy pick, which is cool because he plays
That's
hard
great.
better than everyone else.
And then I'm a diabetic. I have diabetic devices attached to my body, like an insulin pump. I kept jumping in the pit because I couldn't help myself. And it was ripping off my insulin pump. So when Steve Souza came up to do the Wall of Death for Strike of the Beast, he goes like this, and he puts his arm around my insulin pump, and we went in balls of the wall.
Nice.
Do it.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah, homies.
Man.
Yes.
That's right.
Big homie energy.
See, that's an interesting thing because I kind of wondered about that because I have a couple of my guys that come in my shop and they have they got the thing and they got the pump, and I was like, do you ever worry about like getting that ripped off or anything like that?
I can't tell you how many times it's happened, dude. Countless times.
And I couldn't imagine being it because I'm a guy when I go to shows, I am front row, like guardrail, that's me. And you're like through the whole entire thing, man. You're pushing back and shit. Like God, I couldn't imagine having how big's your shit? Like the maybe about the size of like a
Oh, there you go.
Okay, you got that one. He's got that one on his arm, but he's got the pump that's like the size of like a Wii.
Yeah.
that hangs on his belt. So
I had one of those a long time ago, and it was terrible. These ones are a lot more portable and easier to put on. To be honest with you, probably the worst occasion where I had a pump get ripped off, and I'm sure you guys could understand this, was in a guar pit. And I couldn't find it.
oh shit.
It's all covered in blood and meat.
Yeah, so was I. Like as soon as the show started, it was just a tsunami of humans.
Oh yeah. We had to talk about that the other day because literally last night we were eating and I was talking with my kids about concerts and stuff like that. And we were laughing about shit. And I was like, I remember going to see War the first time. So I legit go buy me like a Hanes fucking white t-shirt so I can fucking get all covered. And I'm front row, like I said, guardrail right there. And I look over and these two dudes are wearing tuxes.
Oh my God.
And I look over and I'm like, what the hell? And they're like, they're not ours, man. We rented them. And I'm just like, you got to return them. And he's like, yeah, that's going to be the fun part. I'm like, oh shit. But these dudes hit the entire time, front row, at a War show, in tuxes, completely covered.
Yeah.
So I got that shirt completely covered. I go home and I still live with my mom and stepdad at the time. I kind of like wadded up through it in the corner of my room when I got home, got up, went to work the next day. I come home, all my laundry's done.
Oh.
And I look over, the fucker's white. And I'm just like, the hell? And
See, I actually had a white shirt too. A buddy of mine who loved to go see Guar all the time gave it to me as a Christmas gift. It's actually autographed by Odorous and Ballsack. That's the shirt I wore, and it's still to this day covered in the blood.
That's awesome. Nice. Well, I can tell you exactly what started the conversation. It's because we were talking about having to wear like gross shit because we're in a restaurant. We're like, oh man, you got to wear the stupid fucking apron and stuff like that. I was like, the grossest thing I ever wore. And my one son looks at me and goes, the Odorous costume. I was like, yes. I've wore Odorous's costume, and it was the most disgusting thing you would ever put on in your entire life.
Well, that guy sweats.
Yeah.
Well, it was horrible.
I think
really seals in the flavor.
Slagle just opened the Metal Blade Museum, and there's like a stage-worn Odorous costume in there.
Really? That's pretty sweet.
I think I finally realized where. Now I got to dig them out because I think I know where the pictures are. Because they're literally Polaroids of me wearing the costume. Because I used to go to Detroit all the time for Motor City Con, and Guar would be there. Well, I had met Odorous years before, literally after the Guar show in Cincinnati. So I was doing a comic book show down there, met him down there. Then I end up meeting him up there, talking to him, and I wouldn't say I became friends, but I became a guy that they knew in the area. And I got to see shows for free and shit like that. Well, they were always like sitting there because they're like, they had all their shit on the tables, and they're like, I was like, this gotta suck wearing this stuff. And he goes, you want to put it on? I went, fuck yeah, I want to.
I want to wear the Jaws. Yeah. I would kill to wear the Jaws.
I put those on, and I asked him, I was like, how the fuck do you see with this thing? He goes, you look down a lot, because if you look, bottom is like way bigger, so he's always looking down so he can watch play. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes fucking sense.
There was an interview he did where he actually puts electric tape on the back of his fretboard so he knows what frets he's on.
Yeah. Wow. The probably the worst one out of everything I wore was Beefcake's helmet.
Oh, I bet that thing's huge,
and it weighs a ton. But that was also fucking 20, God, almost 30 years ago at this point.
Wow,
dude, that's what always got me about Guar was that they had all that get up, but they couldn't have anything on their hands, so they always looked funny.
Yeah, unless you're Odorous.
That's a good point.
Well, yeah. They're fucking the Static X dude has this. I don't know how he does it, but he's like,
isn't he gloves. The guy from Dose?
Yeah, he's Edsel.
Something like, yeah, he's like playing Mecha Wayne or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, he plays Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that every time I've ever seen Static X, Dope opened up for him. I guess they were like really good friends. They toured together. So it just was a perfect fit because he's always with them anyway. So
worked out.
And then you look and you see all the tours and they're like, oh, Dope's opened up. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, imagine that. That's crazy.
Having about, you know. But imagine that, having a double set that many times throughout the tour.
Well, literally.
We're both in extra bands ourselves. We've had to do our fair share of double sets, and yeah, you feel it the next day.
Yeah.
So how many bands are you guys in?
I'll let you start.
So I'm
God.
technically in 4 now, but so we got Emerald Rage. There's a prog metal band I'm also a part of called Diver City, and then there's a doom metal band I'm part of called Temple Witch. We recently
recently joined with a thrash metal band called Radiatrix.
Yeah,
which
is a revival of it's kind of funny. It's a little bit of an alter ego thing. So Zach, our newly just joined drummer, and our guitar player Tyson,
who's also new,
who also is new. They had a thrash band back in the day called Radiatrix, and Zach for a long time has been wanting to bring it back, and Tyson was on board. And so I'm like, well, I mean, we're already jamming the Emerald Rage songs. I can learn some of the Radiatrix. You can learn some of the Radiatrix. So every now and then we'll go on as Radiatrix and just play thrash. So
basically, we have 2 full bands with the exact same lineup.
It's kind of stupid, but
it works out because when we have to practice, we can just wrap it up all in one day. So me, on the other hand, I'm like him in Emerald Rage, Radiatrix, and I'm in an industrial metal band from New Philadelphia, Ohio called Syringe.
So you guys are so many bands. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out one of my favorite questions. What was the name of your first band?
So actually, that would have to be a band called Arachnid that I formed with my brother when I was 12, 13. And originally it was supposed to be like a power 3-piece like Motorhead or Atomcraft or something like that, or Venom. And I was playing, I think, drums, and my brother played bass and sang, and we had a childhood friend named Ethan play guitar. This was, like I said, maybe when I was like in 6th grade or something like that. But obviously didn't really go anywhere. But that would probably be my very first actual band.
What's the biggest show you guys have played?
I'd say Legions of Metal Fest so far.
Legions of Metal Fest, but I'd like to go on the record to say our funnest show. Probably we got to play at this venue called the Roost on the River, and Tim Ripper Owens joined us on stage to do vocals. We did a couple of Judas Priest covers with him, and he even did a collaboration song with us, which you can find on Spotify. It's called The Devil's Warhead. And yeah, sharing the stage with him with pyrotechnics, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
But we also played Legions of Metal Fest a couple years ago when our first album, High King, came out, and Raven was headlining it that night. High Spirits played. They're really cool. They're actually a local band. I was out in Chicago.
Yeah.
So there was actually quite a few cool bands that night. That it was fun. Destructor actually. Now that I realize that Destructor played, and they're actually like a Cleveland thrash band from like the '80s. Like,
yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
And so yeah, they played, and it was funny. As soon as we got done, I think his name's Matt or Dave. I think one of the guys came up and he's like, "I didn't know you guys were from Akron. That's kind of funny because they're from Cleveland." And it just
we met up in Chicago.
Yeah.
But the guy doesn't live 15 minutes away. We met him over 8 hours that way. So
yeah.
So how'd you guys get together with Emerald Rage?
I'll explain this one, how I joined. It was kind of funny. My band Syringe, I've been in Syringe for over 8 years now. Mm-hmm. And about 4 years ago, me and my drummer are both from Syringe, are both diabetic. And ironically, our name is Syringe. Now, that wasn't planned. That just kind of happened. But my drummer goes every year in November to host a show called Throwdown for a Cure, where we raise money for the diabetic awareness.
Yeah.
And the one year, before that show, I seen these guys at the Akron Vortex, and it's really funny. Like, I love their sound right away, and I screamed while they were in mid-set. I was like, "You guys sound like Megadeth!" And this guy goes,
"That's always a compliment."
So then the Throwdown for the Cure, which was that year, my drummer put them on the show, and I told them how great their set was. I really enjoyed their music and whatnot. Well, it's Chris, right?
I think it's after Tyson. So ironically enough, Tyson actually, our current guitarist, was in Emerald Rage. He moved to California, so obviously he left, but this was his last show. He was playing bass. And essentially I reached out to him because we kind of bonded over just like Judas Priest, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, like that kind of stuff. And I basically just asked, like, "Hey, any bassists that might want to do this?" And
I sent a few people his way, didn't work out right away. And I wasn't a bassist. Like I've been playing guitar in Syringe for the past 8 years, but a friend of mine in another band gave me a hand-painted Alien Xenomorph LTD bass guitar. And it was beautiful. Hand-painted in neon lights. Like if you look at it in neon lights, it glows. It's got a face hugger on the back of it. And
did you post that on Facebook a while back?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, man, I think I've seen that guitar. And fuck yeah, I saw your guitar. Yeah.
It was awesome. I loved having it. Like before I ever talked to this guy, I was just hanging on my wall and whatnot. And he goes, when these other guys didn't work out for trying out for bass for Emerald, he messages me and he goes, "Hey dude, you and I gel really well. We like the same types of metal. You have a bass guitar." He's like, "Why don't you try out?" And I said, "Well, dude, I'm a guitar player. I don't really play bass." And he goes, "If you can play a bass, you can play a guitar. Other way around. If you can play a guitar, you can play a bass." And
Sorry, Steve Harris.
yeah. So, and I play with a pick. He gets on me for that all the time.
Yeah.
Hence why this is going on. So after a while, he sent me a few tabs, and then June 1st of 2019, I played my first show with them, and we've been a thing since.
That was cool because we actually opened up for Cloven Hoof.
Yeah.
At the Akron Empire while I was still going on, and Cloven Hoof's really cool. Like, I don't know if they're necessarily underground, but they're not as prominent as some of the other big like Tigers of Pantang or Virtue or something like that of the new wave British heavy metal. But really cool guys, really cool sound.
And I'll tell you what, for my first show playing with these guys, that place was packed.
A good time.
Oh my God, it was a great time. And then after that, it was like the 23rd, 4th, and 5th. He goes, "Hey, by the way, we're going on a tour."
Well, little thing, yeah.
Around the eastern side, yeah. But it was cool. I got to stay in hotels and see different places.
Hell yeah. So, who was the original Emerald Rage then?
That would be me.
That was you. You're the founder of Emerald Rage.
Yeah, it's funny. It kind of just started off as a little project with my friend Pat, who he recently left to focus on his other project, Untamed Land. It's atmospheric black metal thing. So then Tyson rejoined, but we originally formed Emerald Rage, and it wasn't really even meant to be like a full blown band at first. It was just kind of like we bonded over stuff like Tyr, Ensiferum, Bathory, some just like Hammerfall, that kind of thing. And then eventually we just kind of made some tunes, got together, and he said he had knew a few guys from when he was in college at Kent State who was kind of interested and wanted to jam, and eventually it just turned into a full blown band. But about 6-7 years later, we're doing this. So
dropped 2 albums, an EP, single here and there. We also did a few recorded covers. We recorded Twilight of the Thunder God by Amon Amarth. We did Massacre by Thin Lizzy.
We did Victim of Changes by Judas Priest too.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah. You guys talk about Thin Lizzy. I just had that whole discussion about how everybody loves, the boys are back in town, Jailbreak and stuff like that. I'm like, it's not even their best songs.
No,
man.
that's him all the way.
All the way. I mean, I still love Jailbreak. I still love even Cowboy Song and stuff like that. But when you get to the meat and the potatoes of stuff like Borderline, Fool's Gold, Romeo and Juliet, like Opium Trail, Chinatown, all that stuff, dude. I mean, Thin Lizzy is one of those bands to me that's like, I've never heard a bad song from these guys.
His famous quote is once you get past Jailbreak and the boys are back in town, they're goated.
That's to me, them and I always say this about like a band like Blue Oyster Cult too, because they're kind of in that same realm where, outside of Don't Fear the Reaper and like Burning for You and stuff like that, when you get like really into the nitty gritty of BOC, like they're just phenomenal. They're off the charts.
There's so many bands out there that kind of come that get lumped into that. They got like 4 songs that everybody knows them by, and those aren't even their best songs.
No, yeah.
Volbeat.
Volbeat.
Oh, you did.
Dude, when I got Volbeat's one of my favorite bands, like right there right next to Metallica. I think Michael Poulsen's amazing. Get off of it.
He is.
He's great. What did you think of their cover of Don't Tread on Me?
I didn't like it. But only Tread is my favorite song off the Black Album. Not that I didn't like it. I did like it. And I listened to it a bunch, but it wasn't something, it didn't feel like when Metallica does a cover, it feels like the song they cover. It's got like the same thread in it. But that one it seemed a little too different to be Tread, but it was still fucking awesome. Yeah, for sure. But I'm like, there's no better cover band on the planet than Metallica. So my standards are pretty high.
So before I forget to ask, did you listen to the Who, that the Mongolian band's cover of Through the Never.
Yes. Wait, Through the Never. I
Really?
I heard that they did Sad But True. I didn't. No, I
Yeah,
didn't know
they do Through the Never. Yeah.
Shit, we gotta hear that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
No, I do like the Who. Those guys are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Fucking
The Who, like Pete
the
Towns
Mongol-
of the Who.
No,
Mongolian guys,
The
yeah.
Mongolian metal band. They use like all acoustic instruments, and they do that Mongolian.
It's like
Yeah, throat singing.
yeah, Mongolian like folk metal or something like
They
that.
do the HawKNLoaD voice.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
So, Hawk, I gotta ask you, man, is that your actual voice, or do you just do that for your videos?
It's my voice. It's the way I talk. I mean,
Okay,
I
so with that
talking
being said-
naturally like this. It's just that's my presentation voice. That's like project like I'm talking to a bunch of people.
Cool. With that being said, I would love for you to read me bedtime stories.
I do. I'm fucking looking for work.
All right.
I might be for hire for sure.
All right.
we need him to do some
Is
audio books for us there.
Yeah, get on.
I get that a lot.
Cameo. People will pay for that.
When I first started doing these kinds of videos, like I did notice that the more that I projected, the more people liked it. And there was like a period where I was trying to dial it in and figure out exactly where to put it. And so some of them do get a little over the top. There are some where I'm just straight yelling at people. So, but that's just what I sound like when I talk louder.
Right.
So.
I love that you're rocking the dime necklace, by the way.
Yeah, this is a gift. It is because of dime, but it was a gift from a buddy. That's why I wear it.
Yeah. I actually just recently got a dime tattoo on my leg. It's him as like a zombie. It's got his necklace, his guitar, it's in fire. Like it's on my leg, so I'm not gonna like punch my leg clear up here.
That's dope though. That sounds awesome.
Right. Dime was definitely my first inspiration for picking up guitar.
Fuck, mine was Angus Young, funny enough. And
Actually,
Tony Iommi.
let me backtrack. Angus was my first because my main guitar that I do typically use is a Epiphone SG. But when I really started loving guitar is when I got into Pantera.
Yeah. So Dime. I've loved Dime. I would say like he kind of moved into my favorite guitarist of all time slot actually later into my 20s.
Yeah.
Before that I was like a big Zakk Wylde guy and Randy Rhoads and you know all the cliche ones. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that though.
I don't know. That's why they're cliche.
Yeah. There's a reason.
Yeah. That's like you're talking about, well, everybody knows these 4 songs and it's not their best songs, but that's how you know they're like a great band.
Yeah.
Because everybody, not just like everybody in metal knows these songs, like everybody. Like if you walked out to the street right now and said, name a metal band to like some little old lady, she's likely to say Metallica, right? So that's how you know. Sometimes the best is the best, man.
Yes, sir.
That's the reason my youngest son, man, if you can't see it, it's back there in the darkness, but for Christmas he got the electronic drum kit.
Okay.
And that kid will sit there and he just listens. He's always on his phone. He's like got the music. And I'm sitting there one day and all of a sudden I look over and he's playing AC/DC.
Hell yeah.
Just listening to it. And he's got his headphones on because it's electric, so it goes to the headphones. And he's like, and I'm like, fuck, man, I guess autism might be a I was like,
my brother's autistic, and I was like, I kept telling my mom to get him into music. I'm like, fucking, let him. And his autism thing is like he knows everything about logos. So like he's like obsessed and knows everything, like all the history behind like the Burger King logo or some Starbucks logo. I don't know why. He's 18 now. He's brilliant, but
yeah.
I remember we were driving around the city and he started telling me about these fucking logos, and I was like, "Why do you know that?"
Vince knows music and cars. That kid, he's like, "You need to stop driving your car. That's my car." I'm like, "Bud, you can't drive yet. You're only 13." Like, no, that's my car. And he's like, "You drive your blue car. It's your Dodge Magnum." And he knows he can spot a car and he goes, "That's a Cross Track. That's an Equinox." I'm just like, Dude, I can't tell what that fucking number is.
To me, they all go to point A to point B.
Oh yeah.
I
And,
somehow fall under that. I'm not autistic, but I am ADHD. And it kind of sucked being in school because when you're ADHD, if it's not something you don't want to learn, you
Don't
have
give a
no
fuck about
interest
it.
in it. You don't dive
Mhm.
in, you don't pick up anything for it. But if it's something that
And
you
you
love,
can't pay attention.
you
It's-
can't pay attention. No, I
just-
couldn't pay attention worth shit. I had to have aid teachers like sit down and like point at shit.
Yeah,
for me.
to this day, if I'm reading something that I don't give a shit about, I like, and it sucks in the what I make. I have to read a lot of shit,
Mm.
and I'll just be like halfway through, I'll just
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
I can't, and without even thinking about it. It's crazy.
It's
Oh.
interesting how that works because I always I've noticed that all the people that I know that say like not really a big reader, I don't really care, they always kind of pinpoint it back to like when in school you'd say like you have to read this book, you have to read this book, and I was the same way for the longest time. I did not give two shits about reading, but then eventually I started reading like on my own, and now I love reading. That's like the inspiration for a lot of my songs and stuff like that we write is like novels and history and stuff like that.
I think it's the action of reading because even though like I'm reading about some like shit that I really like, that's what I'm making videos on, and I have to read things over and over again because I just
Doesn't click with you right away.
no, I just
That's
like
how I am.
fucking my brain boots down and I have to fucking like wait, I'm doing something right now.
So with that also about the whole, if it's not something that you don't care about when it comes to what I have, you don't dive into it. Like you don't take the time to learn about the things. But the one time you made a video and you were wearing a Gears of War shirt, I commented on it. I'm an Advent Gears of War fan. I even got a little tattoo.
That's where I
right here.
came from, bro. That's
Yeah.
where we came from.
Dude,
That's
I
what
can
I
tell
did.
you every single little detail of Gears of War. When the Locust War started, when the pendulum, how long the pendulum wars are, all the little details. I even know that how locusts breed. That's weird. So,
Yeah, the foundation of my initial following was Gears. I was a Gear streamer.
I used to wear the
And
cog
then-
tags all the time.
Yeah, I thought about getting some. I've always wanted to get like a fucking 3D printed Nasher to put on
Oh,
the
yeah,
wall.
there you
I have
go.
a Lancer. I used to have there used to be a Lancer right behind me in every video until I like phased out of gaming to do the music stuff.
But dude, Gears
But-
is metal as fuck.
Fuck yeah, it is. Yeah, no.
Megadeth wrote a song about it.
Megadeth
only
wrote Gears of
reason-
War.
The only reason it's not there is because they keep knocking it the fuck over. So I had to like move it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well,
And Cliff has offered to
Blazinski.
consult for Cliffy B has offered to consult for the coalition so that they can like stop ruining the franchise, and then they just don't answer him or anything. But there was a couple years ago, maybe about a year and a half, like he was not Cliff, but Josh, I was like alluding to having some connection to the coalition, and that turned out to be like not true. And they
Companies
started
that's
like,
making the games currently.
yeah, that's the current devs that
Right.
ruined it.
I will go on the record to say I really, really love Gears 4. 5 was
This was all right. 5
Gears
sucks
4 was
'cause-
cool because it kind of gave me like the aspect of the first game. It was dark and gritty.
Gears 4 was good. I remember like being super stoked when that came out and playing the fuck out of it. It was like one of my early ventures into content creation, like 2017, right as it came out, was trying to make like dumb montage videos. And yeah, no, 5 sucked. Halfway through 5, you're no longer JD, and
You're playing as
nobody. Kate sucks, and nobody gives a shit about Dell. And then
that's why
spoiler
everybody's gonna
alert.
Die at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So spoiler alert, you have to choose one of them to die, and then extra spoiler alert, it doesn't fucking matter anyway what you chose because there's going to be a canonical death.
We can
And
all
it-
agree
and
though.
if
You're
it's-
never, you're
if
never
it's
gonna
JD,
get
I'm gonna
as
be
cool as Double
pissed.
Squad.
No, you couldn't. No, you're not going to fucking match that. But you like, come on,
Yeah.
they're going
I
to kill
agree.
Marcus too. They're going to fucking do it. They're stupid.
I see that's where it's going, but they still haven't released anything about making a 6th one yet. I'm gonna play it
No,
anyways.
there's a couple teaser like because I'm still like plugged into there and I see all that shit. There's Dev talking about 2024, because like the big talk now, the big rumor now is a Marcus Phoenix collection, like the Halo Master Chief collection with like remastered versions of all the games, and you can just jump in and play the multiplayer for whatever game you're choosing, which would like I think would adequately resurrect the series content wise.
Yeah, he was the big Halo fan.
Yeah, I love Halo.
I didn't do the first Halo I ever played. Well, technically, I used to play it back as a kid, like with the first Halo.
Yeah,
but the first one I had gotten into later was Halo Infinite, and it drove me mad. Yeah, it drove me crazy.
Huh.
I didn't play any of the other Halos. I wasn't like a gamer.
Yeah.
I wasn't much of a gamer through my teenage years. I wanted to be James Hetfield, so like that's what I was working on. Right? Yeah, I still want to be James Hetfield. I'm gonna try and find a way to spin this whole thing into.
I knew you trimmed up your beard to look like Lemmy, but you also look like
James.
Yeah, you look like Black Album Hetfield there. That's cool.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Yeah, I'm almost there. Now I just need, a band and talent.
So do you play?
Yeah, I play.
Should have figured you got a bunch of guitars back here.
No.
Yeah, they're not all just for show. I do play them currently when I get time.
Out of the two of us, he's the one with the
I
talent.
work a lot. I'm like a jack of all trades kind of guy.
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
Although I hate to say this, if I keep playing with his drum kit over there, I'm gonna get good at it again. So, but we're way off topic here. But what was the first band to get you guys get you into metal?
AC/DC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was about to say earlier. I was like, AC/DC is like, if you do it right, that opens the door to Black Sabbath, and then Black Sabbath into everything else. And
typically more so Bon era, because it was much more gritty. Yeah. I like the Brian Johnson stuff, but Bon was my
it's the first couple. That's same. Fuck yeah, Dirty Deeds and
Let There Be Rock. Favorite album.
Power Rich, yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
And his.
So mine actually started. My dad was a disc jockey for a lot of local radio stations throughout the area for rock radio, and I remember my introduction into heavy music in general was Alice Cooper and Kiss, because when you see Alice Cooper getting his head cut off and you see like Kiss just blowing shit up on stage when you're 6 years old, that's like the greatest thing you ever wanted to do.
Dude, I got into it because of Kiss, because I was a kid. It was perfect. I'm like the exact, because 73 was when Kiss formed. I was born in 74.
Okay, yeah.
So literally it was I was inundated with Kiss from day one. And then my parents, I found Led Zeppelin, I found Alice Cooper. Then, MTV hit, and so I started finding, like, of course, the hair bands and shit like that. And then junior high, man, was when it all hit for me, because that's when I discovered thrash, and it was like gone with that. Then it just kept getting darker and heavier, and now I'm just kind of going back. I'm going stoner and like groove metal and shit like that. Older. So
see, I got into AC/DC, but my uncle Mike, my family used to go over to my uncle's all the time, and he was a avid, humongous Kiss fan. And before I got into music, Gene Simmons scared the shit out of me. Seeing him going,
Gene was so cool.
Yeah, he was cool, but
I've always been like a guilty pleasure Kiss fan.
But
that's I could have went and seen Kiss on this tour, and I said no. And my buddy's like, dude, I'm paying for the tickets and stuff. I was like, no. I was like, the Kiss I wanted to see is long gone.
Yeah.
That is still in my head, so I don't want to see this.
I bet Robot Kiss or Avatar Kiss, I bet that show is fucking awesome, though. I bet if you went there, you would have a great time.
Oh, yeah, probably would. Yeah.
It's not, it's just not the same thing.
Yeah.
Because they know how to fucking entertain a crowd. So even when they're not there, I bet you they could handle it.
Well, Gene Simmons is a big comic book fan, so everything he does is based on shit Jack Kirby created back in the day. So it's just gonna be this giant comic book fucking thing.
And then he'll sue you.
Yeah, no kidding. So on the subject that we're all pretty much good Pantera fans, how do And you also did mention earlier you're an avid fan of Zakk Wylde. How do you feel about the current age lineup?
So my thing, because I just did a fucking Pantera documentary, so I've been like, my head's been buried in this since it started.
I need to check it, by the way.
Yeah, it's like fucking 50 minutes long. I went
Cool.
deep. And Vinny was very against any sort of reunion.
Yeah.
So that's like that's where the thought process starts for me. But Vin is dead and Dime is dead. And having somewhere where you can bring the Pantera, whatever their motive is, right?
Yeah.
Whatever Phil and Rex's motive is, whatever. But having somewhere to come and like pay tribute to the Abbotts, I think it's a net positive. I think it's a good thing, and it's a good thing for everybody all around. And obviously Rita was on board, so I trust her judgment.
Well, you go back to like 10 years ago, Rita was talking about how, whatever, how many years ago now it was, Dime and Phil had kind of mended fences at one point. I mean, and then, but Vinny was like,
If Dime hadn't gotten shot, they would have
Ohio.
likely gotten back together a decade ago. So
I think it's a catch like 22, because I think in a way it's nice that they're trying to at least kind of resurrect some of the old, like the I guess the attitude, the whatever you want to call it, the product of Pantera, because you have a lot of people that were born in like 60s, 70s, 80s that grew up with that version of Pantera. But I think a lot of things to keep in mind, like for instance, I was born in 1999. So
Jesus,
this is what I always tell people, because I've seen Judas Priest now without KK or Glenn, because Glenn's got Parkinson's and whatnot. So it's like, would I rather see Judas Priest on the the Defenders of the Faith tour in '84? Sure, that'd be awesome. But it's like, this is kind of, I got to make do with what I got. And the fact,
dude, if I could go back in time, my dream show would be '89 Metallica.
Yeah, Seattle.
Fucking yes. That's like perfect Metallica. That is
my dream show to go back in time for is the Combat Tour. Is that Exodus, Venom, and Slayer?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Exodus, I will go on the record to say, next to Slayer, is my all-time favorite band.
Okay,
I love Exodus.
Exodus so
I think
good.
Exodus doesn't get
nearly as much love as they deserve.
Well,
phenomenal.
No, it all comes down to like how things played out.
Yeah. Well, I did a thing the other day. We were talking about Exodus, and I go, you know who the only remaining original member of Exodus is?
Gary.
Gary,
Well,
the guy that replaced Kirk.
Whoa, wait.
The guy that replaced Kirk.
Tom Hunting wasn't their original drummer, right?
No.
I think so.
No, you're right. Damn.
He's on the album, right?
They're still good friends with Rick Hunold. Rick Hunold actually did a guitar solo on Persona Non Grata for the song. It escaped my mind right now, but he did do a solo with one of their songs on that album, and it was cool.
Well, there's so many of those really good thrash bands that were fucking phenomenal that just kind of fell along the wayside. Exodus, Testament, Overkill, Annihilator.
Testament came a little late. They were a little late to the party.
Well, the thing is, they weren't even really that late.
87.
Well, I mean, like the late 80s, 88, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we got
bands like Forbidden and Heathen. Like you can really get into like the nitty gritty of it, and there's just a ton of great stuff.
Yeah, when Gary Holt was in Slayer, the guitar player Heathen took over his place in Exodus.
Yeah, one of the videos I want to do is the thrash metal member swapping, because like I could make a whole video just going over what members of this band were also in this band.
Yeah.
Hawk, back in the day on VH1 Classic, did you ever watch the show That Metal Show?
Yeah,
dude.
That's what inspired this whole thing. I was like, VH1 is gone. This is where I learned all this shit.
Me too.
Who's teaching anybody this shit anymore? I was like, fuck it, I'll do.
Bad. Is you guys got That Metal Show? I was the Headbangers Ball guy.
I wasn't around for Headbangers Ball.
You guys are my kids' age. If that tells you anything, I'll be 50 in June.
I'm a good decade older than these kids.
Yeah. And the worst part about it, Hawk, you're only like a year older than my oldest. So
I'll be 33. I'll be 33 in a couple weeks.
My son will
I'm
be
hitting big 3-0 this
32
year.
in a month. So
Yeah, Headbangers Ball always had really cool tours too. I remember, I think it was '88. They had Halloween, Exodus, and Anthrax was a
Yeah, dude.
That
Going through Headbangers Ball footage for the Pantera documentary, bro. Like they just had all sorts of cool shit going on. Fuck.
well,
And
Is there
what's
streaming
his
service
name?
nowadays where you can watch Headbangers Ball? Because I keep look for it.
Likely just
technically,
fucking YouTube.
yeah,
A lot of it's
YouTube,
archived there.
Fair
but
enough.
MTV, well, I think it's MTV Classics on Friday night, starting at 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning. They have Metal Mania,
Yeah.
and it's all.
And then in the middle they
metal
play
bands.
the Rob Dyrdek show like for 3 hours.
See, that's just on regular MTV. I couldn't even tell you last time I watched regular MTV.
Yeah.
And I watched Metal Mania like every Friday.
Yeah.
It's a throwback. They don't have the host, but they do just show fucking metal show. I mean,
What was that dude's name? Ricky something?
Ricky Rackman.
Ricky Rackman, like watching him interview like Phil Anselmo and Rob Zombie. And I'm like, because I remember Ricky later, like probably mid to late 90s when he had his haircut. And I just thought, like, some people when you see them and with their long hair, you're like, what the fuck? Like it just doesn't look right. It looks like they're wearing something.
Well, he went
That's
from
other-
being.
If you haven't seen him nowadays, he is really strung out.
Ricky?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know what he's up to. I haven't seen him at all.
He's still.
He makes a couple videos every here and there on Facebook Reels, which is actually where I found you, Hawk. But
Nice.
yeah, he does a lot of videos where like his eyes are always sunken in and red. They went and visited AC/DC Lane in Australia, which literally it's just this giant back alley with a crap load of giant portraits painted of Bon Scott and Angus Young, of course, and
Malcolm.
Malcolm. Yeah. Yeah, he still does stuff, but not nearly to the extent that he did back in Headbangers.
I think he just
He's
released a
fucking
book.
probably set. I imagine if he was smart about it, he's probably tired, man. That guy was in fucking everything.
Well, he was also the owner of the Cat House. So like that big famous fucking club out in California. He was the owner. That's where he met. That's where he got the job because he knew everybody already.
On top of that, those bands that he invited on the show freaking tortured his ass terribly.
Oh, fucking Dave Mustaine and Megadeth fucking
forced him to go skydiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually where High Speed Dirt came from.
Yeah. Well, you have you seen, was it Class Action Park? The documentary about that park in New Jersey with the pools and they literally Johnny Knoxville made a movie about it, but it's a parody movie kind of, but it's about the real place. Watch that because it has Headbangers Ball on it when Ricky Rackman and I think Alice in Chains went to this fucking water park in Jersey.
Oh wow!
And it's in the documentary Class Action Park.
Oh, that's cool.
So
watch him become a god.
I got him.
Yeah.
Dave is what ruins Megadeth for me.
I will still listen to Megadeth, but I don't care if I ever go see them live again.
I was banging
some
some
live.
I got to see him live. I have never gotten to see him live.
I only
saw
saw
like
him once, but
5 times. I saw him.
See, backtracking to the Pantera conversation we were having earlier, I would go to see the new Pantera lineup, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. And don't get me wrong, like they got a good roster. I love Charlie Benante. I'm a big Anthrax fan. Hell of a drummer and probably one of the best they could pick. Zakk Wylde, I love Zakk Wylde, but what I do say about him is there is a such thing as being too much of yourself. And I'm not saying that like he's conceited or anything, but just like his tone, if that makes sense.
No, he's phoning something about it sounds like he's phoning it in, but it does sound like Zakk Wylde playing Pantera songs, which is what it is, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think
because I remember early on when they announced it before they had played any shows, Zakk was talking about trying to keep it as close to Dime's sound as he could. But you know, it is what it is. He's Zakk Wylde.
Yeah, he plays his own way.
I think that if they had they just kind of maybe rebranded it as something else, as like the Cowboys
the
from
Pantera tribute, something like that.
Yeah. Because like they had a lot of grief originally when I think it was Scott Gorham, but I could be wrong, was bringing back like Thin Lizzy. but they rebranded as Black Star Riders because it's like, I don't know how you have Thin Lizzy without Phil Lynott. So they kind of just came up with a different name, and those people were like, all right, well.
I mean, at least they didn't go the route that LA Guns did. We have 2 LA Guns.
We have 2 Queensryches for a while.
Isn't there like a 2 white lion? Which one was
White
it?
Lions? Or
No, there's no White Lion right now.
No, I don't know. What was the one from the
Great White?
Fire.
There's 2 Great White.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
Great
yeah.
White. Jack Russell's Great White.
Jack Russell's Great White. Yeah.
There was LA Guns because you had the Phil LA Guns. And you had the Tracy LA Guns.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one. Well, technically, you got 2 Venoms because you have Venom and Venom.
Venom Inc.
Venom
Inc. has more original members than Venom does.
Yeah, I love Venom so much. They're one of my top favorite bands. I cannot push myself to listen to Venom Incorporated.
Damn it, Incorporated.
Yeah, Incorporated. But it's you get there's a couple other bands that I know at one point there was 2 Queensryches.
Yeah, that was going on for a while. That's kind of like a nightmare for any band to like think about like a split like that. And it's weird because on one hand it's like Jeff Tate is like obviously a very critical part of Queensryche. I think Tom Latour has done a great job as singing, but it was interesting at first, like Queensryche without Jeff Tate, like
Emerald Rage, Emerald Happy.
Yeah.
Emerald Rage and Emerald Happy.
Here's what I'll say about the Pantera thing. I think Phil and Rex are entitled to a percentage of what Pantera was and how they're remembered in a way that like, maybe you wouldn't say the same about like a Metallica with just Kirk Hammett, despite everything he's contributed to it. You know what I mean? But I think ultimately it worked out. People, they refer to it as a tribute, but also as Pantera, and people have just kind of gotten over it.
Yeah.
I remember when they announced it, because they announced it a couple days before announcing who was gonna be be part of it. And I remember not being okay with it for like those 2 days.
Yeah.
And then when they announced Charlie and Zach, I was like,
all right. Yeah.
Zach's been
I can see it.
Yeah. I mean, Zach's been on there forever since like
Zach's the only guy you can pick to do that. I think he's the only one that anyone would accept to do that.
They were like this, it's
because there's no shot that like Dime would have a problem. You just know that Dime would be fine with it. So
they even asked, I think, Mark Tremonti from like Alter Bridge if he wanted to be part of it, and he was like, I mean, just to step into those shoes, like as honorable as a role is, but to be like, you have to be Dimebag, like, oh man,
you can't just go up.
Yeah, it's like trying to be Freddie Mercury. It's like, I mean, man, good luck.
Well, they were supposed to do a because I know there was talk of doing a the Motorhead tribute tour.
Yeah.
With
Mickey
all
D,
these like big name guys that were big Motorhead fans coming in and filling in for Lemmy, doing their thing, but it was a Motorhead tribute tour, and it wasn't Motorhead with James Hetfield or fucking whatever playing, and James would come in and play. But yeah, that was the whole goal, was all these people who grew up on Motorhead would be able to come and play, and then that got shit canned. Then they were going to do the same thing with Van Halen. Then I heard that was one of the things that they were going to do with Pantera, it was going to be Phil and Rex, and then the other 2 guys were going to be people who were friends or that were inspired by. And then we got Charlie and Zach, which are fucking perfect because
Charlie Benante was also super close with Dimebag. He was really
Charlie was like the perfect option that I didn't know. Like if you had asked me before who could do it, I don't know that I would have been able to say anybody, but I think Charlie was perfect.
Yeah. Charlie also, I will go on the record to say, is one of the most technical thrash metal drummers I've ever heard. He's great.
Yeah. Well, they were sitting there. I read an article the other while back because they were talking about who invented the blast beats and stuff like that, and they're going on, and Charlie's like, "Did I?"
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the hell I did with those. I got my CDs. I just showed them Hawk, I think last time, but I got my Hell Yeah CDs floating around here, and I got one of them that's signed by Vinny. So and ironically enough, that's my youngest son's name. The one who plays drum is Vinny Paul. So it's Vincent Paul Alexander. So he's named after me, and we make up why he's named Vincent to everybody's. Nobody gets the same story.
Depending. Yeah. Just like the name.
The best one is telling me he's named after Alice Cooper.
I'm not gonna buy tickets to it, even as like a massive Pantera fan. Yeah. Mostly because I'm fucking broke and can't. So, but if like some kind of opportunity to go there came up, I would take it. Yeah, in a minute.
I think we're going to try for this year. We're trying for that the festival down there in Columbus. And
Sonic Temple.
Yeah, Sonic Temple. I've never been there. I hate festivals, but literally this year is the most bands that I want to see there.
Right.
Because usually it's like 20 bands, maybe at the most, that I want to see. And I'm like, I can't justify spending $400 bucks on bands I don't fucking care about. And I think Friday and Saturday is like, I think like 80% both days are bands I want to see. So I'm like, okay, maybe Paul, suck it up and go to a fucking festival.
The Pantera tour, like I think in the United States, kicked off in Pittsburgh. So
I think that
was like the first place they played. I didn't even realize until like the night they were out there that's where it started.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah, that's where I am. Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Oh man, but
Emerald Rage is actually our very first out-of-state show in 2018 was at the Smiling Moose in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like I think there's a pretty thriving thing going on out here. It's a major city, but it's like low enough on the list that it's not too like cost of living is pretty good. And
I used to love going to Pittsburgh, man. I used to go there for Pittsburgh Comic-Con all the time. Now I got friends that live there. And
this is the furry capital of the world. Did you know that? This is where
seems about right.
Is that why you're there?
Big, dude. Yeah, totally. I fucking do. What's crazy when they have their Super Fest, their furry fest, whatever the fuck it's called. The city is taken over by furries, just in costume, walking around. It's fucking wicked.
Tails hanging out.
Dude, it's a crazy experience going through downtown Pittsburgh and everybody's a furry. It's like you woke up like, what the fuck happened? Did
I? See, I haven't been that, but I used to go to Dragon Con down in Georgia, in Atlanta, and you'd walk outside, it's just people in costumes. So there's fucking stormtroopers and fucking Princess Leia, and there's fucking Link, and there's fucking, you're just like,
everyone.
Wow, okay.
Crazy.
And it's just one giant fucking party that I didn't know about until I was married.
That shit's
timing,
It was too late.
Oh yeah, it's way too late for me now. Fuck, the first night I got down there, all I did was party. What?
So I want to fuck a stormtrooper.
I can learn.
Aren't you a little stormtrooper?
I can fuck as a stormtrooper.
There you go. I can fuck as a stormtrooper.
Dude, I bought a cultist robe and this prop. This prop demon Bible. It's just full of like satanic drawings and shit.
Oh, that's so cool.
Because I was gonna because I'm doing a video on satanic panic, and
I
wanted to do some dumb like ARG shit with it, where I flashed in like QR codes and stuff that would just go to unlisted videos that I was gonna film with like my Ring camera of me just like standing in the cult robe, just for like an awkward, uncomfortable amount of time. Just so you could, you know what I mean? Just fucking creepy, like home security looking shit. Oh, that could be cool. But then I'm not smart enough to do all that shit. I don't know how to fit all that in there.
Figure it out. Now it's fucking. I see. I don't have a cultist robe. I have.
I do, robe. And I don't know what to do with it. I also have a fucking dude. Do you remember? Do you remember when Amaranth, the Twitch streamer, was doing that weird shit with the bird mask?
Yeah.
Or the horse mask? You remember? Because that shit was everywhere. She was doing this ASMR, but she's wearing this rubber horse head. It was the dumbest shit. I don't know. But I made like a parody of it with a fucking what's it called? Plague Doctor. I have a Plague Doctor
mask
that I've worn one time. And I'm like, maybe I could use that, but it's a little outside. But now I have a cultist robe, and it was $20. I should do something with it. I was gonna like stand out front of my porch and let like the infrared like night vision, and I was gonna do that there, but I'm like afraid that someone will call the cops.
Yeah.
If I'm just standing for like 5 minutes, like barely moving, on the porch in the dark, just staring at the Ring camera, like fucking, like I'm gonna look like such an idiot. I like, dude, when I'm filming and I'm recording shit, I always have my window open because I like it cold. I like it to be cold in the house.
Same.
So, I keep the heat down at like 55 until I get chilly, and then I'll bump it up to 60 kind of deal. But I have like a fan in the window, and the window is open like all year. And I always wonder if like people walking down the street can hear me like saying the same thing over and over again because I'm an idiot who can't remember the line I just read. And nobody said anything yet.
About how cold you got to keep it. This is actually a funny story of my first year with Emerald. Oh yeah, you know where this is going, buddy. So him and I were driving together on our little tour that we were going on after my first show. It was like the 24th of June, something like that. We stayed after our first show. It was at was it Craft and Vinyl?
Yeah,
we were at Craft and Vinyl, and he had a room booked at a Red Roof Inn, and the E and D in red was burnt out, so it just said roof. So we pulled up there. Yeah, so we pulled up there, and the lady that was in charge of the hotel, he wasn't 21 yet. I think you were just 20. Yeah. And the lady says, hey, since you're not 21, I can't legally give you a room, but I guess she decided to look the other way. So as we get into the room, he goes, I hope you like it cold in here. Like, this is my first like hangout area with him. So he cranked the fucking AC to like 65 or something like that, which I was fine with. I got to be cold to go to sleep. Mm-hmm. So he goes to bed, and I don't go to sleep on time. Like, as soon as we got there, about like 20 minutes in, he's out. I look out the door, and there's a White Castle across the street. So I took his car, I went to White Castle, come back, I'm eating it, and I go to sleep. And I'm about 2 hours into sleeping. I wake up, and I'm itchy.
Uh-oh. So
I lifted up my blankets, moved things around, turned my phone light on. Sure as shit stinks. I see a huge bed bug, and I scream, fuck! This guy jumps out of his bed. What? I'm like, dude, we got to get out of here. There's fucking bed bugs. Are you serious? So we're in our underwear, our boxers, chucking shit out the door. Just chucking it. So ironically enough, the lady that was in charge of the rest of the hotel that gave us the room was staying in the room directly next to us. And she comes out and she goes, hey guys, is everything okay? I said, no, lady, you got fucking bed bugs. She goes, oh, do you guys want another room? And I'm screaming at her like it's 5 a.m. We're both in our boxers.
I think the cherry on top was that we immediately had to like rush. And the thing about bed bugs is this is what I learned by trial by fire, is that you had to throw everything in a dryer, right?
Well, before we get to that, she told us that there's a laundry station right across from us. She said it's $4 for a wash and $2 for a dry. And I'm screaming at her to give our money back. And I said, so you're going to make us pay for that too? So to add insult to injury, we go to this laundry room and we're throwing everything we have in the dryer, our shoes, my diabetic stuff. Like, I had needles sitting on the dryer, and we're just standing in this dryer room with needles on the thing, and we're in our boxers. Like, we look like heroin addicts watching TV.
Awesome.
I was actually, to what you were saying earlier, I was actually like, dude, this looks so bad. We got bloodshot eyes. We just rolled out of bed. We're nothing but our underwear. And there's just
dude, everybody thinks I'm on meth. Don't worry about it. I got like bad teeth, and I'm really skinny. I'm also super tall, so I just look like I'm on drugs.
And that same morning, we had to drive to fucking Kentucky and play another show.
Yeah. We persevered though.
I've never had to deal with bed bugs.
It sucks.
I grew up in South Florida. That's where I'm from originally.
Okay.
And so, and I was like poor white trailer trash, South Florida. So like my mom never had a car that had working air conditioner, and like you couldn't use the air conditioner in the house because, it's expensive. So it was always hot. So as soon as I got older, anytime you go to a hotel, fucking crank that shit down and like freeze it all out. And like, I was just in heaven with shit like that. So the second that I fucking got to a point where I was like in my own shit, I was like, I'll pay whatever the electric bill is. I don't give a fuck. Air conditioner's on as low as I can get it to go. Fuck yeah. I'm done sweating.
You guys talk about the hotels and stuff, I managed a hotel, so I had to deal with all the shit because we learned bed bugs like immediately. And ironically enough, bed bugs come because of not poor people. Like they make it like, oh, it's a fucking it's fucking people with money traveling, and they don't check their fucking luggage and shit. And they go to the next place and they set it on their bed. They set it, the first thing you do, they tell you, you go anywhere. And I tell everybody, fucking everybody I know is in a band or everybody I do these conventions or travel. One, always check your room as soon as you get in it. Take everything off, look around the bed, check everything. Never put your clothes or your luggage on the bed. Put them on a table if possible, or in the bathroom.
That's what I told him.
And yeah, you just keep that shit away from, because as long as you can get up and, because if you keep all your shit away from it, you can sleep, and yeah, you might wake up with them, but whatever. But you can go take a shower and they're fucking gone. And so you kind of just might take your underwear
on everything.
Yeah, so you fucking check everything. But no, that's the first thing I do. Anytime I travel, first thing I do, pull up all the fucking bed. I go around the seam, look at everything.
All that. Yeah.
I check everything, and everybody's like, "Why do you do that?" And I'm like, "Dude, I worked at a hotel. I know you fucking check everything."
Yep.
So, and usually the first sign where you can find them is like you'll find their shit remainders like right under the mattress where the bed frame is.
Yep, exactly. You find it. You find it in that seam that goes around the outside of the mattress. Yep. And we went to one. We walked in. We had booked the hotel. The hotel was supposed to be a nice hotel. We booked it. We go in there. I look, and you could see where they had been in the corner. I pulled everything down because we left all of our shit in the car. I walked up and was like, "Nope, we're leaving." Walked back down to the thing. Told the lady, and they're like, "Well, you didn't give us." I was like, "No, there's fucking bed bug remains in there. I ain't staying here." No. So we go across the street. We get a room for like half the price. Fucking spotless. It was.
You got to do it.
So let's do this because I gotta roll soon.
Yeah,
let's do the tour or show horror story. You have any good like tour, like on stage, backstage, fucking just everything went wrong, terrible night? No.
While he's brainstorming, because he's got a few rattling up there. I don't think we really got to introduce ourselves yet. Yeah. I'm Erik. I'm backup vocals and bass guitar. Jacob Worley, frontman, vocalist, and lead guitarist.
Nice.
We'll have all your stuff linked and shit in the description. Yep. Paul will hook all that up.
Oh, and before I forget, can we use your song in the outro?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. So,
the tour horror story, man. I mean, outside of that one.
Outside of that one, that was a big one, but that wasn't.
That was a good one. That's what reminded me of it. Yeah. We had one kid who had to like stab a bass player or something like that.
David, as far as like for me personally, I mean, there's been a few times where like, I think the only thing that's like scary on stage is when you can't really hear yourself or you hear anything else, and it's different with like guitar. If you look down, if you're playing an A chord, it's going to sound like an A chord. With vocals, it's like, hopefully this isn't key. So I mean, there's been a few instances like that, but I mean, the bed bugs is going to be, that's probably pretty hard to top.
That probably wins. Yeah, no, that's
going to be the hands down winner today. So as long as nobody's got stabbed and nobody had to shit in a bucket, the bed bugs are the worst.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Next tour.
That's good. Most of the shows are fucking cool. So are you guys touring or playing shows? Do you have anything coming up?
Currently, right now, we're not doing anything because
I see that.
Yeah. But we're planning to hopefully do some
James Hetfield fucking virus over there.
Yeah, exactly. I made it back up, but we're hoping that as soon as he's cleared to go, to get up and rolling again, and hopefully hit the road.
We want to go hard this year.
So yeah,
nice.
So where can people find you?
You can find us on any major streaming platform like Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Apple Music.
Throw us a like on Facebook,
Bandcamp, all that kind of stuff. We also have CDs available through our label stormspell.com. And yeah, you could find us anywhere. You just look up Emerald Rage
or have someone reach out. We'll ship you a CD if need be.
So yeah,
you guys sign your CDs?
Oh yeah, we'll sign them.
If you guys want one, hit us up.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate the value, but
Yeah. But dude, you guys are younger guys. Like I said, you're around my kids' age, which fucking makes me feel old as fuck. But you guys are keeping it real. You're keeping it, old school. You're growing up listening to your AC/DC, your Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and you're keeping that vibe alive when so many kids are like fucking going completely other fucking direction.
Yeah.
And it's good to see. It's fun seeing guys out there fucking banging it out, playing and shit like that. The question I always forget to ask, which I really should, how's your family with your musical aspirations?
My
His family comes to damn near every show.
My family's,
Awesome.
I'm generous enough that my family's been 100% supportive all the way. In fact, like growing up, my dad wanted to do this as a living. He wanted to play guitar and stuff like that. So he understands the gist of it. And but yeah, it's really cool because a lot of people are less fortunate where their parents are like, kind of stingy, like, oh, I need to go college, get a real job. But yeah, I mean they're incredibly supportive, and I'm very thankful for that.
Very good people. I love seeing them. On my behalf, my parents have always been super supportive. They've always been proud of me for how much I've come along in the band life, even though sometimes they'd be like, quit worrying about the bands, get a better job once in a while. But they've made their way out to quite a few shows, and ever since we dropped our second album this year, they've been super proud and supportive about it, and it's all I can really ask for.
Yeah.
I mean,
My mom they did get me on my feet when it came to learning heavy metal and hard rock, even though my dad loves Madonna, but we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, right.
Well, your dad's probably about my age, so was he about 50?
My dad is 60.
Oh shit!
She's on tour or something right now, right? Because I keep seeing her all over.
Yeah,
she's still doing it.
Like robotically humping into the air, concerning.
I saw a picture of her from like 1977. I was like, that's why people still dig Madonna.
Yep.
But you guys are, like I said, you're killing it. You're great, man. Keep it going. Just stay course and shit. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to go talk to a new venue here in my hometown. And my goal is to bring live music back to this town.
Nice.
Because we used to be a thriving death metal scene, ironically enough. Little fucking podunk town of about 26,000 people had a huge death metal scene in the 90s. And we had a big music scene for the longest time. And then all the bars that played live music all closed.
Oof.
And my goal is to bring it back. So one day when you're healed, I will reach out to you guys.
Yeah, hit us up. We'll come down and play, man.
3-hour trip down
my
here.
healing process is about a month, but before I can hop on guitar, it might be about a month and a half. But trust me, as soon as this is done, I'm ready to go balls to the wall.
We're hoping summer-ish that I will be able to start moving forward with bringing bands to town. So
that'll be perfect, man. Yeah, I got your email, so hit me up if that.
Yep. Cool.
We'd be happy.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
if you guys have anything to release or
got anything,
I just found your Facebook page, so I'll make sure to share out whatever.
Hell yeah.
And
We'll share with you as well.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And then
if you want to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys want to do
this? Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And when you guys are ready to tour or got a new album drop, let us know. We'll get you back on. So
yeah, man. Cool.
So all right, gentlemen. Well, it's been a great night, and I got adult shit to do, and Hawk's got some shit to do. So you guys take care, and we'll see you next time, man.
You too, guys. Night, Hawk. Night, Rock.
Later, brother.